hurricane season is here, and when the power goes out, will you be ready? Don't let darkness and inconvenience ruin your family's safety and comfort. With a Honda generator from Bozeman Distributors, you'll have peace of mind knowing you can weather any storm. Honda generators are designed to keep your lights on, appliances running, and your family protected. Don't wait for the next storm to hit. Contact Bozeman Distributors at 225-295-1092 or visit bozemandistributors.com to learn more about Honda generators. Bozeman Distributors, power when you need it.
After the final whistle under Friday Night Lights, head to Brock's Friday Night Clinic for free orthopedic care and more. Whether you're a football player, cheerleader, band member, or dancer, everyone's welcome. Trust Brock for expert care after the game.
Bayou Ford has the inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today. Or let Bayou Ford help you customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery. Visit BayouFord.com to shop or schedule a same-day appointment with our service department just off I-10 on Belterre and LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims? Because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. here on Monday, October 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect sunny skies with a high of 93. In hour one of today's show, we'll recap the weekend that was in college football. We'll talk about the top NFL games, and we'll preview Saints versus Chiefs. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
Welcome into Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota.
Ooh, you're scary.
We're bringing you the spookiest sports talk in town with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Terrifying and terrible.
Live from the haunted Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Wow, welcome in. OTB.
Yeah, a fan of Big Voice Girl. Let's go.
Alondra, well done. Well done. When'd you get all that done?
I got it on Friday.
Okay, that was fantastic. Welcome into the show, Jake, Alondra, and Tay-Tay in studio. T-Bob, well, I'm not really sure where T-Bob is. I think Savannah. Is that correct, T-Bob?
That is correct. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, and I apologize, dude. I freaking left. I thought whatever, it doesn't matter. I left my mic, so my quality's not the best. I'm going to try to go maybe pick one up today for tomorrow, but we'll make do for today. I'm in Savannah, Georgia. It's beautiful down here. Just got here yesterday afternoon, going to speak to the Savannah Touchdown Club later tonight. And man, I really loved that intro, though. That was fantastic. And for all the crap that everybody's been giving Big Voice Girl, I think you owe her a bit of an apology because I think she really hammed it up there. I think she really sold it.
Yeah, I don't think Big Voice Guy could have ever done that.
No, She can do sultry, she can do witty, she can do snappy, and she can even do spooky. So I'm very happy. I'm almost as happy about that intro as I was about this last weekend of college football.
Well, let's go ahead then and get things started.
It's time to get to work, courtesy of Tiger Labor and Staffing, where they can help take care of screening, training, payroll, and more. Now, for starters.
And remember that website, tigerlabor.com. TigerLabor.com. That phone number, 225-275-8437, right there on Florida Boulevard. Tiger Labor and Staffing. You said it, T-Bob, and everybody watched it. It was as chaotic of a weekend that I can remember in college football. we almost even had one at the very end of the night, which we'll get to throughout today's show. That probably should have been another loss for Miami. But even without that, 4 of the top 11 teams fall. Texas A&M, just demolishes Missouri. Alabama loses to Vanderbilt. Tennessee loses to Arkansas. USC loses to Minnesota. There's so many to go over. What was the one, though? Was it the one that's the obvious one, T-Bob?
Yeah, for me, of course, it's Vanderbilt beating Alabama, because it is something heretofore unseen. And I don't mean that factually, numerically, right? Vanderbilt had never beaten a top 5 AP team. You saw the graphic throughout the game the other day. They were 0-60 in such opportunities, whereas Alabama, I believe, was like 60-3 when ranked number 1. And going against unranked teams, it's the first time Vandy had beaten Alabama in 40 years. And really, when we look at all of these games, Jake, it speaks to a theme. And that is, first, something that we continue to talk about, we continue to further appreciate with every single week that college football goes by, that instead of making the rich get richer, like I thought the transfer portal originally would, it continues to democratize college football.
Yep.
Look at who got it done for Vanderbilt. That quarterback, Pavia, he comes over from Mexico State last year. They also brought over the tight end Sellers, who ends up with over 100 yards receiving on Saturday. From there, I think they even brought over the OC, right? So the OC may not be portal, but then you go to Arkansas and you look at Taylon Green and even Landon Jackson, who used to be at LSU back in the day. For Texas A&M, Nick Scorton, the sack master, a guy who is from A&M country. They ignored him. He had to go to Purdue to prove himself. Now they bring him back. They love him. He dominates Mizzou. Minnesota's quarterback, Hosmer, is a fifth-year transfer from, I believe, New Hampshire, who was awesome. He comes up with a win over USC. And then Washington and Michigan have just 2 completely new teams, but Jed Fish and Will Rogers find a way to get national championship revenge, and then Cam Ward continues to watch. So it's crazy how wide open college football has become because of this democratization of talent. And now, Jake, after this weekend, the 12-team playoff feels wide open. Everything feels as wide open as any college football year that I can remember in a very long time.
I'm right there with you. We love chaos. We love 2 lost national champs here, and it feels like you're going to have something very similar to what we had in 2007. By the way, Jerry Kill, the New Mexico State head coach, is actually on Vanderbilt's staff as a consultant. So they've got like every little piece of that New Mexico State team that went to the Plains and beat Auburn 31-10. Well, they brought it to Nashville, and they have been state of Alabama killers.
Diego Pavia, state champ, baby. How many quarterbacks can say that they have dubs over Auburn and Alabama?
In the non-conference, I would have to look that up. I can't imagine that list is long. If there's anybody on that list to beat Auburn and Alabama as a non-conference and a conference opponent, but to do it, and he went and made the plays too. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing about that game is Vanderbilt went and made the plays. Alabama, they answered a bunch. And at the end of the game, like, it looked like, oh man, here we go again. Alabama 4th and 1. They run a reverse. The player's right there to make a play. He doesn't make a play. We've seen this story so many times. We know how this plays out. There's no way that Vanderbilt's going to get a first down. They're going to run 3 times. Alabama's going to get the ball back. They're going to make this miraculous play. They're going to win the game. And Vanderbilt went and took the game and suffocated it and said, no, this game's over. It is done. They threw the ball. They ran the ball. They did everything on that last drive to close it out. That was the most impressive thing, is they closed the game out on their own terms.
Yeah, it's there were 4 or 5 times there where I just assumed that, this is where it comes to an end. It's been fun up to this point, but this is where Alabama finally takes over, and they just are not able to do so. And I think about something exciting. The 4th and 1 play from Pavia is still just so awesome. It reminds me of Skylar Green, the fake option with Matt Mock back in the day against Georgia, where they're getting everything to the flanks. You think, okay, he's going to run, he's going to dump it. They've been doing that. And then he sets his feet, takes a massive hit, and delivers a touchdown strike. What else do you see, Jake? It's just pretty incredible. If you look at the box score, I think Vanderbilt had it 42 minutes to Alabama's 18. So now, and then you look at Tennessee, Arkansas, where Arkansas nearly held the ball 40 minutes. We saw what happened last week at Kentucky, Ole Miss. It's a big if, because not a lot of teams are willing to go slow tempo, and not a lot of teams are going to go 13 of 19 like Vanderbilt did on 3rd down. But sometimes if you're facing one of these elite offenses, the best thing you can do is just not give them plays. I mean, I want to say that Alabama only ran 40-something plays to Vanderbilt 70-something. And when you look at it, Alabama actually very effective to put up 35 points in 17 minutes.
That's true.
In that limited of plays. It's just that they didn't get the opportunity. And Vandy's defense came up with a couple of really big ones. The pick, but then obviously the strip sack at the end completely changed the entire dynamic of that game. So, look, Alabama's by no means done. They do have, I think, some major questions to answer defensively.
Yeah.
If you look at their last 6 quarters of football, there's no doubt about that. But like I said, there is no real favorite. You could say Texas. I'll say, okay, well, the Michigan win doesn't look nearly as good as it once did.
We'll find out about 2 and 3.
Exactly. I mean, we'll find out with Texas soon. Ohio State, okay, they ended up pulling away from Iowa on Saturday. They would probably be next in line, but let's see how they look against Oregon. Like, the list goes on and on right now. There doesn't seem to be a prohibitive favorite. And you know what else this weekend was, dude? Every time somebody tells you the college football slate is bad or boring,
every time,
it almost invariably ends up being just a zany weekend, and it's happening again.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we only had, coming into the week, we had one ranked on ranked matchup, and honestly, that ended up being the worst game, A&M and Mizzou. I think that was the only one that we had, if I'm not mistaken, because everything else, like, obviously Vanderbilt wasn't ranked, Arkansas wasn't ranked, Minnesota wasn't ranked, Washington wasn't ranked, Cal wasn't ranked, and all these games that were the most exciting games that we'd seen in a long time. I mean, just a full day, like every single window had this massive upset. I mean, it was so bad that I forget, I think it was Memphis that came into our room and he's like, another field storming? I'm like, yeah, that's what today is. It's a day full of field stormings because these unranked teams keep winning. And I mean, you're right. You look at the top 5 and I don't think anybody is unbeatable. Like, Penn State is sitting there at number 4 right now. Like, I don't believe Penn State's the 4th best team in the land. Miami at least should have 1 loss. They don't have any. I guess credit to them. They're sitting there at number 6. And then we'll get to Tennessee right now, because as shocking as Vanderbilt was over Alabama, and it certainly was, almost as shocking was Tennessee looking human. They had not looked human to that point. And Arkansas wasn't a bad team by any means, but Tennessee looked much better. They looked much faster. They looked different than Arkansas, and they go up there to Fayetteville, and they can't get anything done offensively.
Yeah, it got well, and what the honest part was, we mentioned that we thought multiple times that, like, Alabama, okay, they figured it out. This is going to be where they turn it around. The thing about Bama is, though, they never had the lead.
Yeah.
For Tennessee to come out that second half, get up 14-3, that definitely felt like, oh, okay. Yeah. So that's, that's it. That was a frisky first half. But then for Arkansas to just hit the brakes, not allow Tennessee to score again, Tennessee to go a bit conservative, and then Arkansas with a backup quarterback find a way to engineer a game-winning touchdown drive. That was maybe even more shocking in some ways than the Alabama outcome when
Yeah.
you look at it from like a game flow perspective.
No, I'm right there with you. And again, Tennessee, to that point, they hadn't looked human. I mean, they looked like a team that was going to go out there and be faster and be quicker and be stronger, certainly in the front seven of their defense, than any opponent that they played almost until they got to Alabama, and just wasn't the case. And, I mean, you kind of look up, and Arkansas is right, in the race for the SEC now. Now they've lost 2 games, but remember, one of those is a non-conference game. And, T, when you look at the conference standings in the SEC, there is only 3 teams that don't have a loss. Now, 2 of those have only played 1 game in Texas and LSU. A&M's actually played 3 conference games already. They are 3-0. Everyone else has a loss, and only 2 teams don't have a win in Mississippi State and Auburn. And so, I mean, you've got like Ole Miss and Alabama and Oklahoma that are down towards the bottom of the SEC standings. And so, like, for a league that we thought was potentially going to get 4 teams into the college football playoff, I think we're starting to see them cannibalize themselves, and now I'm not really sure what that number is going to look like. I guess it depends on what happens around them, but the SEC race is wide open.
Yeah, I still think they're going to get 4 teams. I think you look at the Big Ten, and I think you're seeing a lot of the same things, and I think you will as the season continues on. Real quick on the Tennessee-Arkansas game as well, Jake. This is what really doesn't make almost any sense at all to me, was if we look at the box score and you look at, if I would have told you that Dylan Sampson would carry it 22 times for 138, 2 touchdowns, and that Jaquindon Jackson would have 20 carries for 57 yards, we would have thought that, okay, there's no way that Tennessee loses that game. So how did it happen? I think you saw the footballs. First off, I think you're still seeing some of the youth of Nico. He's maybe not ready to be that like superstar quarterback quite yet, but also Taylon Green from Arkansas. You see what a good team the Hogs can be when he doesn't turn it over. Because I mean, of course they beat Oklahoma State if he doesn't turn it over. They probably beat Texas A&M if he doesn't turn it over. And then now finally they do get it across because because he doesn't turn it over.
All right, before we go to break, do we have the sound of the Vanderbilt football player who was just a little before his time? He knew exactly what he meant. He just was a little before his time, and in the end, he knew exactly what he was talking about.
When you come to our house, we show you how to play some SEC ball. It don't matter where you're from. You're going to know what ball we play. Alabama, you're next.
T-Bob, how good do you think he feels today, over the weekend? I mean, he was everywhere, millions of interactions, and he knew what he was talking about. He just was a little before his time.
Yeah, he's like Nostradamus, dude, or like, I don't know, like who are some of the old scientists back in the day, like Galileo or something, who were killed for their beliefs or forced to renounce their beliefs. Like you said, ahead of his time.
I mean,
is exactly what he is. But my man is finally vindicated here a decade later.
No doubt. Caught so many strays. Last laugh is, well, it's with him. It's not with us. All right, we've got so many games to get into, including, and I can't believe he hasn't already mentioned it, the Corn Hub. Big win over my Rutgers Scarlet Knights. We'll get into it when we come back. It is OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the bench.
All right, go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com, and we tell you every single day, no matter what you're trying to do, if you're buying new, if you are leasing, or if you are renting, everything is available in all the things that they do over there at All-Star. And if you're looking for a midsize SUV, multiple options. If you're looking for sedan, multiple options. Hybrid, multiple options. Truck, Tundra, Tacoma, multiple options. Sequoia for the full-size SUV. And if you're looking for a minivan to join T-Bob in the minivan gang, they've got the Sienna minivan. So as you can tell, something for everybody. And the thing that's always important to let you know is it's in everything that they do. Certainly when you're buying new, you expect everything to be available, but also over at All-Star, If you are leasing, everything is available. If you're renting even, everything is available. So if you've got plans to go watch the Tigers play here coming up in a couple of weeks on the road, call Miss Lisa Sessions today, allstartoyota.batonrouge.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
Welcome back to the 9th-ranked morning sports show in America. Off the bench.
I mean, you could say 9th ranked a little bit peppier.
She never says it how, like, so this one is one I sent. Taylor sent the last ones off, but this is one I sent off, and she never says it like the way that we think she's going to say it. That was shady.
Yeah, it was real, like, imagine not being one of the other 8.
Right?
Because, like, when I sent in the best morning sports show, sorta, it was like, oh, you know, we sort of do different things, whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, sorta.
Yeah.
It's like, look, lady.
But it's
maybe
fine.
get a little context clues here.
I mean, I would like, hey, welcome back in to the 9th best sports show in America.
She was reading it. She's like, I can't believe I'm doing this for only the 9th rank.
She was reading her headlines that T-Bob was giving her last segment.
Okay, wait. So is this mic a little bit better? I've tried a new mic switch here.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah,
if
good.
not,
You're
maybe
good.
we just do
You're
over
good.
the phone.
You're good.
Yeah,
I mean, that's much better
way
than over
better.
the phone would be.
Okay. Cool. All right, cool. Nice. We're making it. Sorry about that, y'all. This is on me. Again, thought I had my mic packed. Did not. What an idiot.
Do you have shoes?
All right, so where do you want to go next, Jake?
Do you have shoes?
Like on?
Yeah,
Or
like you
did I
like
bring
no, you got your shoes. Yeah, because last week you
I got
forgot
plenty of
shoes.
I
Okay.
got plenty of shoes.
Okay.
I brought workout shoes. I brought boots. I brought shoes to wear with a suit.
Ooh.
I actually have like a surprising amount of shoes, I would say.
Well done.
An impractical amount of shoes for a 2-day trip.
Okay. This is your chance to wax poetic about your Nebraska Cornhuskers beating my Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Look, man, I don't need a victory lap here. It was a tough fought, very well played game from both sides. I don't know what happened to Monungai from that first drive to the rest of the game. He looked completely unstoppable on that first drive. At one point, I want to say in the third quarter, it was some ridiculous stat. Like he had 64 yards rushing the first drive, and then I think it was like 67 total for the game. I think, look, Dylan Raiola is still young and learning, but ultimately he is an advantage over Kaliak Manis. But at the end of the day, it is the culture of Matt Rule and what he's trying to instill there that ends up ruling that black shirt defense, that toughness in the trenches. And this is probably, I would say, Jake, people will point to the Colorado game, but honestly, this is probably the first win in the Matt Rule era where Nebraska fans can really feel like this is different.
Yeah.
Because that was a good undefeated Rutgers team, much like the Illinois team that you lost to. And yet this time you come out with a win.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think Rutgers is a good football team. Nebraska did find a way. It was like a classic rock fight, which I can certainly enjoy. And both teams try to be the most physical that they can. And it certainly was that. And Nebraska wins that one. I want to go to another game in the SEC because Ole Miss, obviously LSU's opponent this week, and we were wondering what it would look like with them facing South Carolina on the road. And the second half of that game was incredibly boring. I think there was a total of 3 points scored by Ole Miss in the third quarter, and that was it that you got in the second half. I mean, Ole Miss was the better team. I don't want to make it sound like they weren't. I mean, South Carolina didn't take advantage of any opportunity that they had. But honestly, it just feels like one of the worst fake punts in the history of fake punts because literally everybody knew it was coming. Not only did everybody know it was coming, but you lined up in a different punt formation. Like you didn't even make it look like it was going to be an actual punt that you use. And really, honestly, after that, it was like, okay, well, that's it. That was it. Y'all had some momentum.
I mean,
you stopped them, and then you give it right back to them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ole Miss did a little bit better than that fake punt deciding.
No, I know. I'm not
game.
saying that. I'm saying, but like once that happened,
objectively an awful call.
South Carolina they weren't going, like they were going to have to stay on schedule is my point. And they, once they did that, they got off schedule because the defense had stopped Ole Miss's offense. And then all of a sudden you give it right back to them. They score. Like once you got off that schedule, you weren't going to have enough because you needed it to go 80% your way for you to pull off an upset.
Yeah, I think, and I mean, look, you got to check out of it. Ole Miss's defense was still in there. They were like the starting, it was a punt take. Like, why you didn't check out of the call, I don't know either. My takeaways from this is not. I mean, I kind of expected that out of this game, right? Where I thought Ole Miss was probably a bit better than they looked against Kentucky, or that other teams won't be able to replicate as much what Kentucky was able to do. I think this continues to tell me that the Kentucky offense is a bit better than I gave it credit for. And the reason why is because Brock Vandagriff has really shown strides of improvement every single week. The guy that looked completely helpless out there against South Carolina a few weeks ago looked better against Georgia and then looked really solid against Ole Miss. Lenora Sellers, coming off of injury, just wasn't able to they weren't able to control the rhythm of the game in the same way that Kentucky did. Now, overall, I mean, from a couple of weeks ago, Ole Miss still looks way, way, way more beatable than it had maybe originally felt when they were just putting up the dumbest statistics we had ever seen. But I think this was a really solid win for them. I mean, their entire season was on the line here, back against the wall, going into a rowdy stadium, early morning kick. It would have been very easy to mess up and lose this game, and then all of a sudden that entire team falls apart. So I'm not as high as it was in Ole Miss 2 weeks ago, but I thought this was a really solid response from them on Saturday to go find a way to get this win with a mixture of defense and offense, right? I mean, just as important
They
as
had 6 sacks and they only gave up
the
one.
offense here, yeah. And that's going to be the premier. Look, the Ole Miss defensive line and front seven is really good, especially at rushing the passer. Obviously, Kentucky was able to run the ball with success, do a lot of quarterback run with success. But honestly, that's not going to be LSU style. So that's not really something that you can carry forward into that game anyway. You are going to have to rely on Emory Jones and Will Campbell winning their battles against Jared Ivey and Princely Umanmielen and Nolan and everybody else, because that Ole Miss front can definitely get after the passer.
Yeah, we'll certainly do a deep dive into LSU and Ole Miss today on the show. But recapping one more game out of the SEC over the weekend, Texas A&M smothers Missouri 41-10. Connor Wigman, 18 of 22, 276. Honestly, when we heard he was playing, we thought, okay, well, this gives Missouri a better chance because Connor Wigman hasn't been great. He was really good in this game. Brady Cook was not. 13 of 31 for Brady Cook. Missouri couldn't run the football. They ran it 30 times for 68 yards. They got nothing going offensively. Luther Burden had a couple of nice plays. They had one long touchdown call back, but A&M, I mean, they just did everything right. They were the more physical team. They were the faster team. They were the more aggressive team. And now you look up Texas A&M. We said it earlier, 3-0 in conference play, 5-1 overall. Their only loss being to Notre Dame. A&M is firmly in the conversation for a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, it's so I think this game is fascinating, right? Because I chose Mizzou to win a close one. It's like, okay, so where did things go so wrong? So there's the element about this game that we knew and we talked about that I wish I would have doubled down on, which is that Brady Cook and that Mizzou offense has been awful. They've been really bad all season long. And I don't know why I was giving them the benefit of the doubt that they would figure it out on the road against that defense in that environment. But I did give them said benefit of the doubt. So I'm a bit upset in my, post-game analysis there that I didn't double down on that more when we used it as such a talking point, but just kind of hand waved away and said, but I think they'll figure it out Saturday. What I did not expect and what we all missed is exactly what you just talked about, Jake, is Connor Wigman. And it's weird with Wigman because when everybody was hyping him up, we were like, well, I mean, he hasn't played that much football. How are we so sure that he's really good?
Yeah.
And then he had one bad game. And from that one bad game, we all kind of made, myself included, very sweeping proclamations that, okay, no, he sucks. But in the same way, he hasn't played that much football.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, we still don't know the full extent of the player. Is Marcel Reed also going to be very good? Yes, I believe so. He makes solid decisions, to the ball over, make play with his legs, make a play here or there in the passing game. But that is a completely different team with Texas A&M is when Connor Wigman plays like that. I mean, what did he finish? 18 of 22?
Yep.
No turnovers. And really, instead of and you can say, oh, well, look at what Le'Veon Moss did. It helps Le'Veon Moss. Now you can't key on Le'Veon Moss because Connor Wigman can open you up in the intermediate to deep pass with a consistent passing attack that you haven't had the last couple of weeks. So yeah, that's how first play of the second half, Moss rattles off that huge touchdown, ends up with 12 carries for 138 and 3 touchdowns. So if Connor Wigman plays like this, absolutely, Texas A&M is a playoff caliber team.
How about the Florida Gators as we continue going on down the SEC? They're underdogs in their own stadium to UCF, and they get a 24-13 victory. Now 3-2 on the year. I know you thought maybe that UCF would go in there, the Gus Bus would get rolling, but for another week, because if Billy would have lost this game, I think it would have been it, because you can't lose to UCF, regardless of how good they are, how bad you are. With where you're at right now, you couldn't lose this game, and they come out. Graham Mertz was highly efficient yet again, and they get the dub 24-13. I don't think it will mean anything at the end of the day in the SEC, because I watched that game, and there's still deficiencies all over the place. UCF isn't as good as we thought they were, but Florida had to get a victory, and they did.
Yeah, I think not much to say here. I think you've had a couple wins in a row from Florida where, credit to them, even though I do demand the internet do an investigation, because Jake Hester continues to pick Florida every single week in our 104.5 pick'ems.
2-1.
He is now the head coach. He is now the head coach of a Florida Gator team. I am going to need an official investigation as to whether or not Jake can still be called a Gator hater. From where I sit right now, as he's bragging about his 2-1 record while picking them, it certainly seems like some questions need to be asked. That's it. This UCF pick, I've now faded Florida 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Thinking that maybe the culture was so broken.
Yeah.
That they would lose to teams that are lesser to them. But credit to Billy Napier. He may not be able to beat the best teams. They've had some disappointing losses, certainly, but he's still solid enough where he's, for the most part, beating the teams that he should, and doing it with kind of some impressive two-way quarterback play, rotating in Graham Mertz and DJ Lagway, and actually doing it kind of effectively.
You know what? They're not the worst in the SEC. How about that? I said something nice about them again. They're almost the worst. Auburn's the worst.
Jero says he's about to scratch out Gator hater off his signed jersey. I think you have to at this point, Jero. He's been hanging out with Chris Dorian too much. It's his best friend. There's just a mountain of evidence to point towards Jake actually being a Gator lover as opposed to the hater. I mean, you catch him at, what is it, Wednesday night attraction, Tuesday night attraction? Guarantee you'll see this man in orange and blue.
No, not orange, because for every team that I've ever coached at Traction, we get like a shirt. I've gotten a Longhorn shirt, a Tar Heel shirt. I've got a Terps shirt for Memphis' team. They're the Terrapins. I just have a blue shirt, and we call ourselves the team in blue. We won't even say Gators.
Yeah.
So how about that?
Mm-hmm. Whatever, dude. You ain't
we are
fooling me,
3-0
son.
though.
I got my third eye fully open, bruh.
I guess Mississippi State is the worst, but Auburn feels like the worst. Doesn't it just feel bad on the Plains? I mean, a typical Auburn team, as I try to get away from this Gator conversation, a typical Auburn team like shows up in a game like this against Georgia. You know, like one that you're not expecting them to be in. We're expecting Georgia to go just steamroll them because Georgia's going to be angry. And that's what happened. But like in typical Auburn fashion, that's when they like show up the most, it seems like. And even that's gone now. Like Auburn right now has so many issues, and I don't know who can fix it. I know it's not Hugh Freeze right now. They're 0-3, worst record in the SEC. Mississippi State's 0-2 right there. So you got Mississippi State and Auburn at the very bottom. I don't know, T. I don't think that it's going to get fixed anytime soon. You watch that team, they're dysfunctional. They got more issues than Vogue. I don't know where they go as a program, to be honest with you.
So I actually think as a program, I think Auburn's fine. I think this year they've had a couple games that they should have won, but they just turned it over an astronomical amount. I think they've got really good young weapons if they could somehow not get them poached in the portal, and Condre Lambert-Smith and Cam Coleman. And they got a really, really good recruiting class coming next year. If you can not, if you can get a quarterback that he can work with better or that he believes in, and
But I mean,
not
he
make
should have
stick
this
with Peyton
off
Thorne.
season. Like, that's on Hugh. Everybody else was getting a
No,
quarterback.
it is on Hugh. It is on Hugh. I'm not saying it's not on Hugh.
He
What I'm
thought
saying is,
I think he was
I
so
think they have
cocky he
to
thought he
stick
could
with
win
Hugh.
with him.
I think he did too, and he made a bad call. But not only that, like, I think it's actually going to work out for Auburn a bit that they have to stick with Freeze.
Yeah.
And that they can't move on because they have too much money. I think they need some stability there almost more than anything else. And like I said, I like some of the young weapons. We'll add more young weapons. And it's been their mistakes more than things that screwed them. I think Auburn could be a team that could maybe actually take a pretty big jump next year.
They've got to hold on to those recruits. That's easier said than done. You are spiraling, and others are going to try to recruit those young players you have committed. I don't really know that they have many players on that roster outside of some skill guys that are going to be program builders. And so, yes, they've got things coming to them that look like they can help, but now you've got to hold on to those young players. All right, we are long for a break. We'll take it now. More OTB when we come back here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the bench.
All right, T-Bob,
Hey, what's up, y'all?
tell
Go
the
to-
people about
Oh,
Oak
yeah, go ahead.
Park.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
gonna
that's
set
right,
you up.
baby.
I was
Go
going to be John Stockton.
oakparkevents.com. Oakparkevents.com. That's Oak, P-A-R-C, events.com. Look, man, you just got engaged. Congratulations, fellas. You want to show your wife that you give a damn? Why don't you go check out oakparkevents.com. Set up a free consultation at Oak Lodge, Park 73, two completely different venues where we got venues within the venues to customize it however you want. We've done thousands of weddings here at Oak Park. Okay. So if you have, if whatever music, whatever type of food, whatever the vibe you're looking for is, we are a true turnkey service. Show your wife you give a damn. Set up the consult today by going to oakparkevents.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, you know, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, you know. We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques, Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
Welcome back in, OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Tay, you had a question off air that I think I've got the answer to. I don't know. Let it rip.
Yes, I was asking you guys, like, I'm a grouch when it comes to this, but like Vandy gets a historic win over Alabama, right?
Yes.
They rush the field, they tear down the goalpost, they throw it into the river.
Yeah,
And then, like,
exactly.
shortly after, Arkansas was like, oh, well, we got to do it too. So they rush the field and tear down for beating Tennessee. I just don't think the two are the same.
I wholeheartedly disagree with you here.
Most people will.
That is their biggest win since they beat us in 2007. That's 17 years ago. That's a long time ago. Their coach came into the season with one of the hottest hot seats in America. They are much better than any of us thought they would be. They beat a top 5 team where they were a 2-touchdown underdog in their own stadium. If not now, then when? Was kind of my thought.
Yeah, look, Jake's exactly right. I don't know why you have the soul of an 85-year-old man who's angry at the world, Taylor, but like beyond the fact that I don't really care if people want to rush the field anyway, Jake hit the nail on the head. 17 years. 17 years. Taylor, you're almost young enough where that's your entire lifespan.
Yeah.
If you don't get a win like that in 17 years, and then you see your team battle and you're down 3-0, then you get down, or excuse me, you're up 3-0 whole first half, then you get down 14-3 and you think, oh, we're cooked. And then you find a way, you score a last second touchdown. Of course, you are going to rush that field. So no, fully allow it. I think it was I think they're well within their rights to do so.
That's why I was asking the question. I wanted to hear y'all's thoughts.
I think, Tay, you need to go to yourgoodwood.com. Yourgoodwood.com. Live your life without fear or embarrassment. You go to the website, check out a list of services they have for you. Just feels right, Tay, to give you that information. What other field stormings did we have? I know Washington, they also stormed the field. That felt like that was kind of from last year.
That's a little more desperate. It
is. It is because Michigan's not. But it felt like you beat us in the national championship game. We've got a lot of new here. It's because maybe the opponent and not where Michigan was, it felt like. Maybe.
Yeah, for sure. But also, like, I don't know. I mean, again, it's a national championship rematch, right? That's a little crazy. I don't care. You want to storm field, go ahead. But like, I don't see that one as making as much sense. But I will say this: what a day for Husky fans! You get to watch Kalen DeBoer lose at Vandy, and everybody make fun of him on the same day that you get revenge against a team that smoked you in the Natty. Big time weekend winners, the Washington Husky fans.
Oh, early weekend winner. I like it. Michigan's bad. And that happened.
Yeah, they can't throw a forward pass,
quick.
dude.
They cannot. Now, they could last year. Obviously, they had first-round quarterback. But, I mean, it wasn't who they were. They did it when they had to, and they did it really well. Like, even the defense that has a lot of Sunday players, they just – I don't know, man. It looks slow. Like, it looks like they're stuck in the mud.
Last year they chose not to throw the ball. This year they can't throw the ball. The difference in those two words is all the difference in the world. Because when they needed to, J.J. McCarthy could make the plays. That's why he got drafted so high. So, yeah, Michigan not very good. And really now after Minnesota beating USC, that Big Ten hierarchy continues to look a bit muddied up.
Yeah. I mean, Penn State didn't look great against UCLA.
It's going to be Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana. your top 4 Big Ten teams. Bam.
We can get to Indiana a little bit later on. Actually, when we come back, we'll update you on the AP and the coaches poll. Who are the big movers and shakers there? We'll do it right here on OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to PECbuilt.com, PECbuilt.com. Pinnacle Exterior Construction, pools, outdoor living, fences, and bulkheads. That's residential and commercial, no matter what you need. You see it right there on the homepage. They can get it done. By the way, that is any kind of fence that you need. They can get done. Bulkheads, we mentioned it, multiple ways to get that done. Also, artificial turf. You see it like on the homepage of the incredible pool that they show. That is also available for you if you want a space at your job, if you want a space at your home to put in a putting green. They have got you covered. PECbuilt.com.
Yeah, man. Go check out the online gallery, PECbuilt.com. Go to Brady Laundry.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Bertman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
That's much better. I like that one much better. Well done. Who wrote that?
That was me.
That's definitely Alondra. Tay can never. AP Top 25. Got some movement there. Oregon moves up 3 spots to number 3. Penn State moves up 3 spots to number 4. Alabama drops 6 spots to number 7. Tennessee drops only 4 spots to number 8. The biggest mover, Texas A&M, moves up 10 spots to number 15. Missouri drops 12 spots to number 21. Michigan actually drops 14 spots. Should have never been number 10. All the way down to number 24. Your LSU Tigers stay right where they were at number 13. One of only 2 teams, actually, T-Bob, to stay where they were before the week. Georgia stays at 5. LSU stays at 13. Now, they did move up to number 10 in the coaches poll, but stays right at 13. Even with all the crazy upsets, LSU stays put. Surprised by that?
No, I'm not really surprised by that. I'd say that kind of makes sense. I don't think people really know what to make of LSU. Like, if you're putting LSU in the top 10 right now, you're kind of putting them in the top 10 just because those other teams lost,
yeah.
Right? And so if you want to reward teams that won and like a Clemson and move them up instead, like I'm completely okay with that. Now, like, I love this LSU team. I like the improvement that I've seen. Like I said, I think week by week they're getting better, and they're a fun team to cheer for because of that. But like, this Ole Miss game is going to really be the test as to whether or not, like the same way that Texas A&M, it felt like Saturday, kind of announced themselves to the country as saying, no, we are relevant. I think LSU has that opportunity again at home, like A&M did.
Yeah.
They have that opportunity this weekend, where if you win that game, all of a sudden you'll start to get that love. And if you don't, people will be kind of like, oh, I knew. Wait, Jake, help me out here. Am I crazy? Did USC just drop completely out?
Yeah, USC is others receiving votes. They are basically number 26 in both polls, coaches
they were at
and
11,
AP.
though.
Yeah, they dropped completely out. Yeah. I mean, because
that's wild, bro.
Michigan dropped almost completely out from number 10. They went all the way down to 24. New teams are Pitt at 22 and SMU at 25.
Yeah, so there's a lot of teams in the AP poll, especially that you could see in that middle ground where it's almost like we're sitting here saying, okay, we think you may be fraudulent, but technically you don't have enough losses yet as to prove so. And it feels like Michigan and USC both taking their second loss. They were very ready to kind of shuttle them all the way down to the bottom, which makes sense, right? Because we got an undefeated Pitt on here. We got an undefeated Indiana on here. We have a very good Boise on here, an undefeated BYU on here. So, yeah, freaking put the teams in the top 25 that are winning. I'm down.
Yeah, and rank the service academies, you cowards. Navy and Army both only receiving votes. Navy basically 28th and Army 29th. All right, we'll be back. Full breakdown, LSU preview of the Ole Miss game coming up in hour number 2.
Off the bench.
All right, go to k2zblinds.com, k2zblinds.com. Look, they've come in, and I can't tell you, and I notice it the most on Saturdays and Sundays, the days that I actually get a chance to sit down during the daytime and watch some ball. Like, you got the sun shining, right? And you just assume, like, oh, this shade's going to be for your outdoor space. But for us, I mean, we're watching in the living room. We throw this thing down. It completely changes the dynamic. There's no glare. There's no sun shining into the living room. We just sit there and enjoy and relax some good football. I didn't even know that was going to be a benefit, T-Bob, when I got the shade.
Yeah, man, you go to KDC window coverings and you have them out to your home, and it does 10, 15 minutes. You're going to know more than you would have ever fathomed. And it's aesthetic upgrades, functional upgrades. Take your home to the next level with KDC Blinds, KDC window coverings.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink, or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. here on Monday, October 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect sunny skies with a high of 93. In hour 2 of today's show, we'll look at a first look preview at LSU versus Ole Miss coming up this Saturday, and we'll talk some recruiting news that may benefit the Tigers as well. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
Welcome into Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota.
Come in if you dare.
We're bringing you the spookiest sports talk in town. With Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Aren't you scared?
Live from the haunted Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 of OTB. It is Ole Miss week. We told you what happened last week in college football. It was insanity. We had upsets all over the place. Of course, the Tigers were on their bye week, and so they watched it all play out. Kind of glad now with all the upsets LSU wasn't playing last weekend. Ole Miss goes to South Carolina and makes slight work of the Gamecocks, and now Ole Miss gets ready to come to Tiger Stadium, where they are the favorite. Remember, T-Bob, LSU during the offseason was a 3-point favorite in this game. Now, as the season's played out a little bit, Ole Miss is a 3-point favorite. And, look, that is a big deal. There's not many times in the history of this rivalry game where Ole Miss has been a favorite, but certainly not in Tiger Stadium. And so I know you're a big fan of ESPN's FPI predictions, and they give Ole Miss a 67.8% chance to win this game.
Well, I don't know that I would say I'm not necessarily a big fan of FPI. I just think FPI can be used to facilitate interesting conversations, right? Like why is it so heavily slanted towards Ole Miss? What what are the numerical angles that is spitting out this answer where you're giving Ole Miss nearly a 2/3 chance of winning this game? Because look, as we talked about, it's been a bit mixed bag for Ole Miss thus far. Yeah, they put up some amazing, and maybe that's part of the problem, right? Even though all these numbers are supposed to be opponent adjusted, against the bad teams, they were so exorbitantly good that would maybe juice those numbers up a bit. But then again, the first time they got punched in the mouth at home, they folded against Kentucky. But then again, I like how they responded. They go into the road in a very tough environment against a matchup that could have given them trouble and really not sweating it at all. So I think let's start to explore this LSU-Ole Miss matchup and how you arrive at a near 70% chance from those computers. And Jake, I think for me, it starts with your greatest weakness right now is your secondary, and Jackson Dart and that passing attack with Trey Harris and Juice Wells and Priestcorn and everybody else, that would feel like a group that is very well suited to exploiting your greatest weakness if you're LSU.
Which player makes you the most nervous if you're LSU? Like, take Jackson Dart out of it, okay? Because quarterback would be an easy answer. Which player on Ole Miss's team makes you the most nervous? Because, well, go ahead. I actually want to hear you before I give you mine.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I would say Trey Harris.
Trey Harris. It's Trey Harris.
Averaging 150 a game right now, leading the SEC, almost 9 catches a game. He's got 5 tuds, 17 yards a catch, and he has that kind of home run ability that, like, no matter it doesn't matter where he's. I mean, even against Kentucky, he went for 11 for 176, right? Like, he did his job. South Carolina, 3 for 81. So, yeah, I don't know how you match up with Trey Harris when we've seen the secondary and some of the receivers that they've struggled against.
Yeah, and you don't think that somebody that went to Como from Lafayette wants to come in to Tiger Stadium and go have a big day? He didn't get that opportunity last year. He played his first 3 years at Louisiana Tech. Last year he played against LSU, but that was in Oxford. Like, this is going to be a game that he's probably had circled for basically like his entire life. Certainly, like, since he realized I'm going to play college football. Like, he is somebody that by far has been the most dominant receiver in the country. Like, when you look at the stats and look at the analytics, he's been the most dominant in the country. Now, the problem is, T, and you listed off a couple of different receivers, how much can you truly try to take him away when you have so many weapons? Like, that's going to be the chess match between Lane Kiffin and Blake Baker, because normally, if you're facing off against a Trey Harris, well, you're shading coverage his way. You don't really have that opportunity because there's so many other guys that will make you pay, and also they can run the football. So that is going to be one of the storylines for me, is how much do you pay, individual attention to a Trey Harris knowing they have other weapons that can beat you?
I don't know, Jake. I guess I'm giving myself over to this. The offense is going to have to win you this game, right? The defense is going to need to make plays around the edges. They've been good at creating havoc this year. LSU actually tied for 3rd in the SEC in sacks and sacks per game right now. I think back to the USC game, the 2 fumbles that you caused in the backfield that you didn't dive on, you have to find a way onto that ball if you do it in this game, because I don't think you're going to stop Ole Miss consistently. But then again, I don't think they're going to stop you consistently either. Remember, we just broke it down on Friday. S&P Plus, LSU, the number 2 offense in the country going to the weekend, number 55 defense. And so it's not just, it's about scoring points to keep up with Ole Miss, absolutely, but also it's about the ball control. You don't have to go full Kentucky, hold it for 42 minutes, let the play clock get down to 1 every time. But if you can stay on schedule, be successful, extend drives. Remember, Vandy, 13 of 19 on 3rd down against Alabama. That is the stat why they won the game. your best defense against Jackson Dart and Trey Harris and Juice Wells, or Judas Wells, as they were calling this last week, or Prescorn, is your greatest strength, which is your offense. And so I mentioned that Ole Miss's greatest strength in terms of their passing attack and their weapons, unfortunately, is well suited to exploiting your greatest weakness. One thing that LSU fans should feel good about is this is an Ole Miss defense that gets a lot of sacks, 24 on the year, 4 sacks a game, both lead the SEC. Well, guess what? Your greatest strength, your pass blocking, lines up directly with it. Right now, LSU, the only team in the SEC allowing less than a sack per game, and it's less than half a sack, only 0.4 on the year. So like that, if LSU is going to win, the offensive line is going to have to win that battle, and by extension, the offense stay on schedule, hold on to the ball, limit Ole Miss's opportunities, and then LSU's defense needs to come up with big plays here or there around the edges to maybe stop a couple drives, create a couple turnovers, and then that's how I see LSU coming out with a win here.
Yeah, so it's not just on the offensive line when we start talking about, protecting the quarterback, and you might just box score watch last week, maybe you didn't watch the game, and you see 6 sacks for Ole Miss. That doesn't really tell the entire story, because there was 3 of those that the South Carolina quarterback ran into. Like it was a good, clean pocket. He didn't want to pull the trigger, and he runs basically into a defensive lineman who's been blocked up at the line of scrimmage. So that stat doesn't really tell the entire story. So it's not just the offensive line, T-Bob. It's also Garrett Nussmeier going through his progression, getting rid of the football, checking it down, because Sellers is somebody that can do a lot with his legs, and whenever he would go through his second progression, he wouldn't really try to get to a third or a fourth. He was just going to try to run, where there was a gap in the Ole Miss defense, and you had 3 sacks where a defensive lineman basically just got ran into.
Do you think that they were being a bit more contained in their rush lanes, knowing it's Honora Sellers versus Garrett Nussmeier? You might just go balls to the wall and leave a gap and see if Nuss will exploit it before you start to respect it.
Well, even if it's still like it wasn't anything Ole Miss did. It wasn't necessarily like a spy situation. It was just a quarterback not going through his full progression that literally ran into an Ole Miss player. It's not to say they can't get after the quarterback, but it wasn't a traditional, hey, this edge guy beat the tackle right now, he got to the quarterback. Like even when the edge defender, I think Ivy had one, it was a situation.
So how good do you think Ole Miss pass rush is then? You think they're overrated?
I think it's good, not great.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's good, not great.
Okay.
I think they have plenty of players that have a lot of skill. And we've talked about Ivy, we've talked about Nolan, we've talked about others. Even Chris Paul. Chris Paul off, playing the linebacker position has, I think, 3 sacks on the year. But I think it has to do, like this last game, more with, them for sure. They got 6 sacks, but I say it was more on South Carolina's quarterback, where that's where Nuss has been really good, is he hasn't taken that sack. Even when a really good offensive line for LSU has given up some pressure, it's been him getting rid of the football, where Sellers last week, there was never one time where it felt like he was getting to his 3rd progression.
Now, the other part, if I'm going to give credit to Ole Miss here, and right now, Jared Ivey tied for 3rd in the SEC with 5 sacks. You got Prince Monmielen at 3.5. You have, like you said, Chris Paul 2.5, Walter Nolan 2.5. But in the same token, right there, tied with Jerry Ivey, Braden Swinson at 5 sacks. Right there ahead of Princely Monmielen and behind Jared Ivey, Savion Jones with 4.5 sacks. So in that same way, we talk about like, and granted, Ole Miss, their tackles aren't nearly as good as Emory Jones and Will Campbell. So if you talk about maybe things that you would get excited about, I think both pass rushes are really good. I do think Ole Miss is really good, but I think your pass blocking is better. I think if we're talking about, okay, where are those plays going to be created defensively that are going to, like we said, maybe it's got to come from Swinson and Savion Jones and the rest of that LSU pass rush has been really good. They got to find a way at some point to just sack, force, fumble Jackson Dart in the backfield, and that could change. That could be the exact play we're talking about in terms of needing to decide this game.
Now, LSU has been aggressive as far as sending numbers. We have seen linebackers and stars and defensive backs obviously be added into the rush for LSU. That's going to be a storyline as well, T-Bob, how much they do that. Because if you can get home with 4, obviously that's the ideal situation. But they have been uber aggressive sending bodies, sending numbers. And against this Ole Miss team, well, you're going to want, guys in coverage. And so, what is that going to look like? Because Blake Baker has been aggressive. It hasn't really mattered the opponent. I wonder how much aggression they have in this game, knowing that you've got, 3-4 weapons on every play that you want to make sure you have covered.
I mean, I don't know about you, Jake. It would seem crazy to me to think that they would come out here and try to run a lot of the single high man stuff that they've been running. Or do you? Do you say, well, we can't guard him anyway, so we might as well go out swinging? It just feels like the thing that makes me most nervous about this game, quite simply, is I can just see the big plays in my head. I can just see the busted coverage or a guy getting burnt man on man, and then it's a 50-yard touchdown. And unfortunately for LSU, that's not an element that we've seen out of that offense, which maybe won't be the worst thing, right? Because extended drives may actually be the key here. But another element for LSU that won't show up anywhere in the stat sheet thus far is the potential return of Chris Hilton. If he's fully healthy, that guy has a physical skill set that no one else on the team does. It's not just his speed, it's his length. It's also his experience. This year was really supposed to be the year where he was going to step into his own. And so if Chris Hilton can come back and if he comes back and he's healthy, that could be another kind of hidden element in pushing this game LSU's way.
Just to kind of give some analytics on how aggressive, and by the way, I agree with you with Chris Hilton. He gives you something different that nobody else has, and hopefully after a bye week and being close to returning a couple of weeks ago, he'll be in the lineup. But to give you an example of what we're talking about, how aggressive LSU's defense has been so far this year, they have brought at least 5 guys 70.1% of the time. They've brought 6 guys 7.8% of the time. They've brought 7 guys 5.2% of the time. So about 83% of the time, T-Bob, they're at least bringing 5 guys in the rush. That's being uber aggressive. That is adding someone that is outside the 4 front guys into your rush.
Yeah, it's and that's LSU you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how do you think that plays out this game?
Look, I mean,
you're asking a lot of some DBs.
You're asking a lot, yes.
That are maybe already not the best. You need Zion Alexander to be healthy. You need Zion Alexander to play a hell of a game. You need Stamps to step up, play the game of his life. Safety's got to cover a lot of ground back there.
It is who you've been. It's something that you have done. I mean, I think last game, I think you brought at least 90% of the time. I think if I remember charting that game, that feels like it was 2 months ago. But so it's who you are, but do you want to be who you are in this game? Like, styles make fights, and how do you want to enter the ring in this one is going to be, the storyline for me early. Like, do you want to send Whit Weeks up the A gap to try to force some pressure? Sure, you're going to do it sometimes, but do you want to do it as often as you've been doing whatever? And it's not just that. I mean, they've brought corner blitz 11% of the time. They've brought nickel 13% of the time. So it's not just been linebacker pressure. They've brought it from everywhere.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so I guess F it, right? You're not just going to sit back and you're not just going to change who you are.
Right.
Maybe massage it around the edges. Maybe it's slightly less aggression, but at the end of the day, You have to be who you are, and who you are is a defense that has been predicated on creating havoc more than anything. And sure, if you're going to, if you are not man to man as good as the offense that you are going against, it is kind of a tried and true idea that maybe your best path is to just accept a little added risk in pursuit of making the bigger play. So maybe you get burned a couple times, but then maybe a couple times, like I said, you end up creating that turnover. You speed up Jackson Dart. You make him feel he gets worse as the game goes on. So yeah, at this point, be who you are. Be who you are defensively. Screw it. Try to find wins that you can have within who you are. But yeah, I think that after we've now talked this out, that trying to just like go through some sort of wholesale change would not be the right idea for Blake Baker and this defense.
All right, more on LSU and Ole Miss when we come back. It is OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the bench.
I go to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. As we told you in hour number 1, if you've got a trip planned to go watch the Tigers play, maybe in Fayetteville, maybe in College Station, and for whatever reason, maybe it's Gainesville, maybe you're going to go watch them play the Florida Gators and you want to rent a Toyota, you can get that done. But the best part about it, it's per day rental prices and everything is available. So if you're on a trip and you want something bigger than what you currently have, Sienna, Sequoia, 4Runner, Highlander, if you want something better on gas mileage, right? They've got hybrids, they've got multiple sedans. If you need a truck around town to haul something, it is per day rental prices. Even if it's just one day, you can go get a Toyota Tacoma. You can go get a Toyota Tundra. You can do it all right there, T-Bob.
Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. That's the website. You can start your journey there, or go see them off Airline in Goodwood. All-Star Toyota, Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
Have you got color in your cheeks?
All right, welcome back in. OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. And we have some recruiting news. So we'll go to our recruiting correspondent, Tay-Tay, because he's got all the latest recruiting news. Tay-Tay, take it away.
It's not like a commitment or anything. Jakeem Stewart, who was the number 1 player in 2026, the defensive end out of Edna Carr, he is officially reclassified for 2025. Now, right before the season started, he withdrew from Edna Carr and decided to enroll in St. Aug. For whatever reason, Edna Carr couldn't make it happen. They said, hey, you cannot reclassify while you're here. So he packed up and went somewhere else, and he worked it out. I got to think this probably plays in LSU's favor because everyone's saying, LSU's a top 3 to top 5 team. You got to have some sort of idea as to who your top 5 is if you want to push up your commitment and move up your enrollment date. So it's not a bad thing for LSU necessarily. I mean, they're in his top 5 to top 10. So.
Well, he's been pretty clear about who his finalists are when he announced that he's reclassifying, and it's LSU, it's Ohio State, it's Oregon, and it's USC. He went to LSU, USC, and Vegas. He's going to watch LSU host Alabama on November 9th. He's going to USC's home game against Nebraska on November 16th. And then Ohio State will get the last visit, and it will be Michigan on November 30th. Now, this is a cat who, as a sophomore, had over 20 sacks and 30 tiffles in a single season. He was the number 1 player for 2026. I don't know where they're going to rank him in 2025, but at the single biggest position of need for LSU, defensive tackle. He's from your state, in your backyard. You have Bo Davis now. Symbolically and functionally, this is about as big of a recruit as I can remember LSU needing to get. And now all of a sudden, and he said he's going to engage with the early signing period. So planning on signing in December. So all of a sudden, the entire calendar moved up for a year. I'm sure a lot of these schools obviously knew it was coming, but it's time to. I mean, you have to get this man if you're LSU. And what's interesting, his trainer, Clyde Alexander from Edge Assassins, had this to say. I mentioned the games he was going to visit, and this might make LSU fans a bit insecure. He said, quote, these games are specifically picked because they're one of the biggest games on each individual team's schedule. The big thing he wants to see is these teams compete at the highest level against the toughest opponent. And these games are very crucial to his decision. So interestingly, you have, we always talk about how recruits don't really care that much about who wins or loses. And I do think for the most part that is true. It's just interesting here. His camp basically put out there that no, for our decision making, we are going to be watching these games very closely. And when you look, you already lost one game he was at against one of the other 4 finalists. USC against Nebraska will be interesting, but SC will have a very good chance of winning that. Ohio State will almost certainly smash Michigan. So as if it was possible, maybe. And then he's going to Oregon, Ohio State next weekend as well. Oregon's one of the finalists there. So LSU Bama on November 9th going to have even a little extra as if it needed any riding on it now. Jakeem Stewart saying he's really watching how these teams do in their toughest games.
You have to know well ahead of time that you're going to try to finish school early. Like, that's not just something that you decide to kind of do and be like, oh yeah, I want to finish early. I'm going to take a whole year of school, right? As far as credits and everything's like, so I can give you my example. I knew that I didn't want to go to school my spring semester of my senior year. So I went to summer school, T-Bob, all 3 years leading into that, took courses that I was going to take the next year so I could get ahead. And so like my senior year after football was done, I wanted to be able to kind of get ready to go to wherever I was going to go. So I could have graduated in December. That's before anybody did that, by the way. You know, nobody really was really doing that at the time.
Yeah.
And really, I think my senior year, I had like 1 or 2 classes tops. And so like I didn't have a full schedule by any means, but I prepared to do that 3 years of summer school kind of going into that. Like, this is probably something he's been thinking about and kind of, you know, anticipating himself maybe to do, because again, you just don't decide to do that the summer before and get it done. At least unless there's something I don't know now.
So with that in mind, like, I agree with you. I think that these other schools, I think the schools have known this, and they've probably been recruiting him as such, kind of planning on this for a while now, and I'm sure trying to get their NIL dollars ready to roll. Here's what he said about, and he's visited LSU a ton, Jakeem Stewart has. These are some quotes that he said about these finalists at one time or another regarding LSU. And this all comes from On3, guys. Again, not an advertisement. I pay for On3. I just think the team at Bengal Tiger does a really good job. Quote regarding LSU, quote, LSU is the state school. I love it every time I visit the campus. The fans, the food, the environment, it's home. Coach Frank is always giving me life advice outside of football, and my big bro, Sean Washington, plays there now. I like LSU, but I'm not opposed to going to school out of state. Here's what he had to say about Ohio State. Really working with Coach Johnson, Coach Clark, some great coaches. Coach Johnson's one of the best D-line coaches in college football history. Getting to do the drills. He got the people that are making a lot of money in the league and going first round. It shows why he is what he is. I love Ohio State, what they have going on right now. Them recruiting the defense and offense, they're doing a great job at getting players. Regarding Oregon, Coach Lanning is a genius on defense. I first met him when he was at Georgia. I love his system. The opportunities Oregon has outside of football, the facilities, it's real peaceful in Oregon. You get to just focus on ball. Regarding USC. My favorite thing about USC is the opportunity there on the field, getting coached by the best. Coach Henney does a great job with what he does. He's got the results and resume on his coaching. Off the field, there's a lot of opportunities as well. Gavin Morris is my dog. He told me I'm a star, and he's going to turn me into a mega star off the field. They have a great marketing business class. That's what I'm going to major in college. So, I mean, you can read into all of those comments however you want. Certainly, it seems like that LA lifestyle and maybe the opportunities there play well to him. Surprising that he mentioned all the kind of defensive line coach, but did not mention Bo Davis in that specific LSU quote. I'd like to see what he said about Bo Davis in the past, but we'll see, man. This is kind of a must get. In many ways, but who knows if you actually will or won't.
So it's a must get because, well, for a couple of reasons. One, it's still a position of need for you. You need to build back up that defensive line. You brought Bo Davis back to Baton Rouge for, players like this to be able to not only coach them, but to get them on campus. And also, T-Bob, we know when you have a player in Louisiana that is a 5-star player, you expect to get 100% of those. Not 95%, not 90%, not 85%. And again, you don't always get them, but you expect to get every top player that you want from Louisiana. It's one of LSU's greatest benefits.
Yeah, and LSU under Brian Kelly, ever since he brought back Frank Wilson, they have dominated getting Louisiana and putting the fences up around the state. And you would imagine that this could be, Frank's latest magnum opus if he can pull this off. But, it's going to get expensive, Bo. I mean, look at the schools that are involved there. Ohio State, Oregon, USC. and specifically Ohio State and Oregon. USC is actually not really as much in the NIL space as I maybe would have thought they would be at this point, but Ohio State and Oregon are all in, and they gonna pay. And I don't know that you're going to be able to match their number. So this is going to come down to, do you overextend yourself financially and try to match that number no matter what? Or can you somehow sell Stewart on taking less to stay home with greater benefits coming down the road? This is going to be an absolute battle. And Jake, just look at the defensive tackle market, right? Everybody needs him. Even look at Georgia. Georgia's not that good at stopping the run right now.
Yeah.
Alabama, not good at stopping the run. Everybody needs these massive D linemen. And so we'll see how this plays out. We will see. But you know what it's going to play out? By December now, which is crazy. Only a couple of months till we'll know where Jakeem Stewart's going to end up going.
All right, we will step away, continuing talking LSU versus Ole Miss when we come back. We've still got weekend winners coming up here. Stay locked in. I think we have Dev today. T-Bob, we got Dev. Dev good? Dev good to go?
I'll double check. I always plan on him, but I know he's been busy, so I'll double check.
All right, stay locked in here. It is OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the bench.
All right, go to communitysteelco.com, communitysteelco.com. And remember, this is in Gonzales, Louisiana. And we always tell you, when you go to the website, top right corner of the site, click on Community Steel, and it'll show you exactly where they're located. Now, they've been already at the office for over an hour and a half waiting on you. They invite you to come see the showroom, see what they can do for you at your home, but obviously also your business. And so they get there early because they want you to come see them, want to show you a showroom, show you what they can do for you. But if you can't get there today, in the state of Louisiana, 225-647-2020. Again, 225-647-2020.
Yeah, go to Community Steel Company, communitysteelco.com, your one-stop steel shop. The local guys going to get you right, man. Purlin, tubing, roofing, sheet metal, anything, any size project. You need a giant commercial order. They got you back. They manufactured all themselves. They got the best prices. CommunitySteelCo.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call
Welcome back to the 9th-ranked morning sports show in America. Off the bench.
Welcome back into the 9th-ranked sports show in America. That's how. Try to get some energy in there. T-Bob, if we're going to continue talking. By the way, we did a whole segment on recruiting. I want to pat ourselves on the back. If we're talking about LSU and Ole Miss getting back into the game, I asked you earlier who the most important player to stop was for Ole Miss outside of Jackson Dart. I'll throw it kind of a similar question at you. Outside of Garrett Nussmeier, which offensive player for LSU has to have a big game?
Okay, so allow me to do a bit of a cheeky, chalky answer to start with, because it is Will Campbell and Emory Jones. The greatest part of the Ole Miss pass rush, or excuse me, defense, has been the pass rush. If you completely negate those guys, not only do you take away Ole Miss's greatest strength, but there's always something psychological, Jake, when you see your best player getting his ass kicked out there, right? So Jared Ivey, they sent him to media days. He leads the team in sacks. He's a leader on this team. You go and you neutralize him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you make him look bad. Well, then everybody starts to kind of shake a little bit. Same thing with Princely, whatever. So I again am really highlighting those battles a la South Carolina. Now, granted, Kennard got Will Campbell 3 times. That's the most we ever seen anybody do that. Can Ivey and Amon Mielian do the same? Now, outside of that, outside of Nuss, you know he relies on Aaron Anderson. You know he relies on Mason Taylor. Is it weird to say Caden Durham?
No, I thought actually that's where you'd go
offensive
first.
performances have been when Caden Durham has made big plays.
No, I thought actually that's where you were going to go first. I mean, he is averaging 8.4 yards per carry. He is somebody that in the receiving game is averaging 21.7 per catch. Now, he's only got 6 catches, but you can only do what you can do with the ball in your hands. And obviously, like, he has now integrated himself fully into RB1 status. He's been a game changer, and he has to be a game changer in this game. Sure, Aaron Anderson has to make plays. He's your leading receiver. Kyron Lacy has to make plays. Mason Taylor is certainly somebody that you're going to need in big moments. He is Nuss's favorite target as far as, hey, it's 3rd down, I need a play. I trust him the most. But Caden Durham is the guy that has been the X factor. He is electric with the ball in his hands. He has a rush of 86. He has a catch of 71. He is a game changer. So, yeah. You got to get him involved in the game plan because he can take a 5-yard swing route and go 75. And you don't really have anybody else. Now, if Chris Hilton plays, he's got an ability to take, a slip screen and go the distance because of his speed. But it's been a long time since we've seen him. We've seen Caden Durham do it the last couple of weeks. He is somebody that has a skill set that you're searching for right now. And your offense is yearning for somebody that can go a distance and take a 5-yard play and go 75.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting that, like you said, you throw the quarterbacks out of these conversations because everything does go through the quarterbacks. But especially on LSU, because outside of Durham, there hasn't really been the home run guy. And even Kyron Lacy, who's been so damn good, is not like what Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas were last year. And so, Ole Miss needs Jackson Dart to play well, but like if LSU's going to win this, Garrett Nussmeier has to be at his best. Like we Taylor keeps trying to get us to bring up mock drafts here in October, but a lot of them have Nuss going first round. That still seems a bit much to me. But if he goes out there and wins this game, it's probably because he plays an incredible game, very clean game, which he's spreading the ball around. Maybe this becomes a step forward towards justifying some of those early projections that we're seeing.
Well, let me ask you this: why does it seem a bit much for you? And that's not even like a rhetorical question. I'm just asking for Nussmeier to be in the first round conversation. Because to me, he looks like
it's just still a small sample size.
It's a small sample size, but he is the quarterback that, like, as far as pro progressions and like going through what it looks like on Sundays, there's a couple of guys that are bigger college stars that Nussmeier is more ready to play in the NFL to me.
Yeah, like he's a better NFL prospect than Jackson Dart is. He's more traditional. He's got an incredible release. We broke down the throws that he's willing to make with Flynn. Did an excellent job on last Wednesday's show of doing so. I think size would maybe be one thing that the NFL would favor, maybe some others over him. I think from a physical standpoint, I don't think he's just going to blow you out the water. But it's mainly just a sample size thing, in my opinion. Why I say it's a bit much right now. Definitely the talent's there, the potential's there, the play has been there. But look, man, we're about to enter 7 SEC games in a row. You know, for as fun as the first portion of the season has been for all of college football, we are finally now entering the portion of the year where, okay, we're gonna learn today. We're gonna learn who's real, who's not. And after this last weekend, that picture seems muddier than ever. So we'll see where Nuss's ceiling actually is right now.
Yeah, T-Bob brings it up. You've got Ole Miss at home. You're at Arkansas. You're at Texas A&M bye week. Alabama at home. At Florida. Vanderbilt at home. That game feels a lot different now. And versus Oklahoma at home as well. Like, think about that. That Vandy game, that feels completely different than now. A&M.
You know what's crazy? Shout out to my guy Nick, who I was playing tennis against the other day, because I never thought about this, but he was like, of course, the 1 year you would want them, you don't get Auburn, Florida, or Mississippi State.
You get
like
Florida.
The 1 year in which those may be the actual 3 worst teams in the SEC, you don't get them. A bit unfortunate there. A bit of bad luck for the Tigers.
You get Florida, but yeah, you don't get Auburn. You don't get Mississippi State, who are 2 of your like longest standing rivals. You don't get a chance to play them when they are down. But yeah,
I forgot that you still got Florida. Okay, I'm excited again.
Well, you and I have talked about it. I know we got to take a break.
How are you feeling about that, dude? Your Gators? You upset? Who are you going to cheer for? What, dude? Are you going to pick the Gators that week too?
Just because you don't know what you saw and you picked UCF to think they were going to go into the swamp. Look, I'm trying to make up picks here, okay? I picked South Carolina because I'm trying to make up picks. All right?
Whatever, dude.
All right.
Whatever. Gator Lubber. Jake Hester. Jake Gator. That's what I call him. Jakey Gates.
Jakey Gates. All right, on that note, we will take our final break of hour number 2. Eventually, actually, we can start the process when we come back. The Saints do play tonight. They play the Chiefs. We'll be at the Queen. We'll tell you all about it. We'll be back. More OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to centralplumbing.org. Centralplumbing.org. It is your one-stop plumbing shop, as T-Bob tells you all the time. And yes, it is 24/7, 365, weekends, holidays, game days, emergency services. 225-925-8552 is the number. So no matter when it happens, right, because it always happens at the worst time, Central Plumbing can be there. They can be there to help you, whatever you might have going on. They can come in and they are going to get it done. Again, 24/7, 225-925-8552.
That's right, baby. Go to centralplumbing.org. Jake just gave the number. That's the website, licensed, bonded, and insured. They send you information ahead of time about who's coming into your home. They have 24/7 merch, so flat rate pricing, so no like surprise rated fees just out of nowhere at the end, which I absolutely hate. And they've seen it all, guys. 50 years of experience. So commercial, residential, it don't matter. You got plumbing problems, you go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, welcome back into OTB. It was a wild week of college football in week number 6. Remember, the slate initially, it didn't look like the slate that we have this weekend. This is a slate this weekend that we have talked about for months. And we've had all the fall wedding jokes. And if you were getting married on this Saturday, nobody was showing up. So we do have a lot to get to when it comes to this week. But here's what it sounded like for week 6 of college football.
Marshawn, we may disagree on our pick today, but I'm telling you, man, 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl at the 1.
How would you assess just sort of the health of your team right now?
How many timeouts does Alabama have? one left.
They had all 3 of you minutes ago.
They have 1 left, 118.
But the only place you play in the SEC that's not hard to play is Vanderbilt. Because when you play at Vanderbilt,
For one team in the country, what's going through your mind right now?
It's literally all God's timing, literally from the jump. God gave me a vision when I was a little kid, and he don't let that, and he promises it's God's time. Like, Vandy, we're hurt.
Man, you just got to keep playing football.
Oh, yeah.
Boy. Hey, he's got.
You have 70 family members here. What did it mean to do this in front of them?
Where the fans at? Where the fans at? Come on.
That was well done, Alondra, by the way. That was the
Let's
sounds
go,
of week
Alondra.
6
Hell
in
yeah,
college football. The sounds after the Vanderbilt game were so good. That was like just straight up raw emotion. Credit to the SEC network, Alyssa Lang, for tracking him down and getting those sound bites, because that was just pure emotion. And sure, he said a couple of swear words, but they stayed with it because they knew what that moment meant. And how great was it from going from that interview to Clark Lee and just completely different vibes?
Yeah. I think my favorite part is Lane Kiffin being asked a question about the health of his team, and then obviously watching the Alabama game be like, oh my God, they're going to lose. Like, how many timeouts do they have? They have one timeout, 1:18 left. Like, oh wow.
The best was like, he's like, hey, like, guys, no, like, this is like historic. This might not ever happen again.
It's good job, Alondra. That's something that Alondra said she's going to do, and we'll continue to do a little sound to get you ready for the weekend. Now we just need a snappy name for it. But yeah, that was fantastic, guys. We may have to watch SEC shorts this last hour sometime. At some
Okay.
point.
All right. Well, while we're trying to think about
everybody keeps talking about it.
All right. While we're trying to see if we can get that pulled up, I want to remind you about Coleman Roofing and Construction. You can go to their website, colemanroof.com, and it is truly a one-stop shop. If you have damage in the interior of your home because you have a roof leak, well, they'll come out, they'll fix the interior damage. That's the construction part. Then also the roofing part, obviously, they come in, they fix your roof. It's not just residential, commercial as well. Yeah, I'm sure SEC Shorts had a hell of a time this week, T-Bob. There's so many moments, and they were so good when Vanderbilt beat Virginia Tech. I haven't seen it yet, but I can't imagine the links they went to make sure that they got all the emotion of Vanderbilt beating Alabama.
I'm too excited to I'm excited to check it out. I've also heard that it's one of those too, for if you're a real SEC Shorts fan, seems like there's a lot of callbacks. So if you're like a big fan of the SEC Shortsiverse, that this is going to be a good one. A good one for you. And also, look, so we got weekend winners. We got Dev coming up, and we did a heavy breakdown on Friday, but we should revisit our final takes on Saints Chiefs as they get ready to square up for Monday Night Football.
And again, we'll be out there watching that one. We'll give you all that information coming up in hour number 3 of OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the bench.
All right, go to AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com. Look, I know it's not fully there, but there's going to be a point when you got to turn on the heater. It is not that far away. And so when you do that, you want to make sure that your unit is ready for that. You want to make sure your unit is working at its peak performance. So you go to AccuTempBR.com. You have them come out, schedule just that yearly maintenance. They make sure that your AC heater is working exactly as it should. And look, let's be honest, you're playing the game of AC heat. You go back and forth. You don't want to shock the system. Have AccuTemp come out to make sure that your system is working exactly how it's supposed to.
That's right, baby. AccuTemp Baton Rouge, AccuTempBR.com. Go there, check them out today. They are... Look, there's a reason why they have such incredible reviews. If you're in the market for a whole home generator, you want to protect yourself during storm season and make sure that you have that peace of mind. They give you a free estimate, let you know exactly how it works. AccuTemp of Baton Rouge, service to the highest degree.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. here on Monday, October 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect sunny skies with a high of 93. In hour 3 of today's show, we'll preview the Monday night matchup between the New Orleans Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs, and Devin Snow hops on the show at 9:15. If you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch it in the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. You can also follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN, and watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
Welcome into Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota.
Enter at your own risk.
We're bringing you the spookiest sports talk in town. With Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
It might even horrify you.
Live from the haunted Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3 of OTB, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge, and it is the 3rd hour on a Monday, so you know what that means. It's time now for Weekend Winners.
That's how winning is done.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We gotta keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do.
What's that?
Win the whole thing.
All right, I will start this off. My first weekend winner goes to the University of Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. Yeah. They beat James Madison, a previously undefeated James Madison, a James Madison that scored 70 points against North Carolina. ULM holds them to 19 points James Madison was a 17-point favorite coming into this game. Louisiana Monroe is now 4-1 on the season. Their only loss coming on the road against the number one team in the land, Texas. 3-1-8, 3-1 great. UL Monroe, the Warhawks, baby, weekend winners.
How could they not be? We love Coach Bryant Vincent on this show. We had him on a couple of weeks ago. He blew our mind in 15 minutes. That man had me ready to run through a brick wall. I think James Madison has twice the operating budget that ULM does. ULM has no NIL collective, and yet here they are at 4-1. He already got revenge against UAB for passing over him for Trent Dilfer, which, by the way, weekend loser.
Big
UAB
time.
and Dilfer, they turned out to be complete disasters. But it is actually unreal what Bryant Vincent has going on in Monroe right now. If you live up there, go support this team. Go to the games because they are putting an awesome quality product on the field right now. Beating James Madison is insanity. Great job, Bryant Vincent and ULM.
I agree wholeheartedly. You got another one? Or I know that was probably one that you had.
No, come on, feed me. My next weekend winner, I mentioned it early, but Washington Husky fans got national championship revenge on the same day that they saw Kalen DeBoer really kind of get tripped up on the big stage for the first time in his career. Right? Not to say that DeBoer had never lost games, right? But he lost important games, really big ones. To lose to Vanderbilt, something Alabama had never done before, something that Vandy had never done before, beating an AP top 5 team, for Husky fans to get to watch DeBoer fail on the same day that at home they see their Huskies beat the Wolverines by 10 that just beat them in the Natty badly last year. It was a great Saturday to be a Washington Husky fan, weekend winner.
Yeah, I like that one as well. No matter where Michigan is, no matter where Washington is, you know that was some sweet revenge and a sweet Saturday for them. Alondra?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of really good football this weekend, and I enjoyed every second of it, but I got to give weekend winner to Alex Pereira. UFC 307 was this weekend, and since moving up to light heavyweight about a little over a year ago, he got the title the next fight that he had. So in less than a year, he's defended that title 3 times and has won by knockout each time he's defended that title. So he won the fight on Saturday night against Khalil Roundtree by knockout again. So shout out to Alex Pereira. He is on a run right now that is generational, and it's absolutely insane, and nobody is doing it like he is in the UFC right now. Weekend winner, Poeton.
Absolutely. Tate, what you got?
Yeah, my weekend winner is going to be Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty. He did it again, 186 yards, multiple touchdowns to get Boise State the win. He now has over 1,000 yards. He did it in the first quarter of the 5th game of the year. I mean, he's on pace to set records. He has over 1,000 yards, averaging 10.9 yards per carry on the season, and multiple boards. If you go look at the Heisman favorites right now, you'll see one Ashton Jeanty at the top of this list. He's now one of the betting favorites to take home the Heisman Trophy. He's just on an absolute tear.
He's been incredible, and the thing that makes it incredible, it doesn't matter the opponent. He's done it against the best opponents, the worst. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, he shows up every single Saturday. How about that, T-Bob? A little love for the running backs. Might win another Heisman Trophy.
We'll see, man. But to be the sole focus of your team and still averaging 10 yards a carry boggles the mind. It really does. Now the highest rated running back in EA College Football 25 as well. My next weekend winner, Indiana Hoosier fans. So Indiana beats Northwestern 41-24. They're now 6-0, 3-0 in the Big Ten. It's the first time in school history they've scored 40 or more points in 5 straight games. And their quarterback, Curtis Rourke, right now is a top 5 rated quarterback in the country. He's top 5 in yards per attempt, top 5 in yards per game, top 5 in completion percentage. Signetti has the Hoosiers absolutely rolling right now. And it's in a Big Ten that's maybe a little more open than we thought previously. So shout out to Indiana.
Yeah, that has been a great story. I mean, the fact that he hit you with the Google me then, that is fantastic. All they do is win. Indiana, they had certainly some time with Michael Penix Jr., but I don't remember this much Indiana football talk since Antoine Randall back in the day. Like, it has been a very, very long time. So congrats to them. Certainly a team that everybody can kind of get behind and root. Speaking of teams that everyone can get behind and root for, T-Bob, I know that you want to talk about the service academies as well, but Navy 34-7 over Air Force, Army 49-7 over Tulsa. Both teams are 5-0 right now. The Army-Navy game is already the best thing that I get the privilege of going to watch and cover, even if both teams are bad. Like last year, I think one was 6-6, one was 5-7. Didn't matter. It's always incredible, but we are headed towards a potential incredible season-ending like American Conference Championship game, Army-Navy, a playoff spot could be on the line for one of these teams. And this is not like by chance. It's not because they've been lucky. They've been beating the hell out of people, and yet again, they get it done. I cannot wait to see how this plays out, and I hope it ends with both teams undefeated and maybe playing for a playoff spot.
I mean, it would be unreal if this year's Army-Navy game was with a playoff berth on the line. Like sometimes, I mean, could we possibly live in such a blessed reality? It looks like we may. We'll see. But as you said, Jake, 5-0 for the first time since 1945. Guys, shout out Army and Navy.
Yeah, I love it. Love seeing them with as much success as they've had. And again, like, it's not been close. It has been by a lot. They have dominated these games. All right, Alondra, you got another one?
Yeah, this one. So I want to give weekend winner to our guy Joey Burrow, but I also kind of want to give him weekend loser because he's just such a bad situation. I mean, he's having these great games. In the last 5 games, he's thrown for 1,370 yards, 12 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. Yesterday, he had 392 yards and 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, and still couldn't get it done. 5 touchdowns, and I just feel so bad for him because he's playing really, really well. And I mean, they're 1-4. It's just not a great situation for my guy Joe out there. I mean, I would suggest to request a trade immediately.
Well, and the crazy thing is, Alondra, weekend winner. Chad just mentioned it, but how could it not be Jaden Daniels?
Oh, yeah, Jaden Daniels, too.
Yeah.
I mean, sitting here now at 4-1, a rookie who continues to just look so calm that it boggles the mind. Who'd they make short work of Sunday? The Browns? Like it was nothing?
Yeah.
Yes.
All of a sudden,
34-13.
I mean, he continues to play awesome, but like all of a sudden now, the entire, you can see the effect, especially in football, that one man can have on a team of men who maybe weren't thought of as the best beforehand, right? Because in the NFL, everybody's pretty close. So sometimes you just need that leader that really gives you that self-belief. And I feel like what Jaden Daniels is giving off himself right now is exuding throughout that entire Washington Commanders team.
Yeah.
I am right there with you. I mean, gosh, I watched most of, if not all of that game yesterday, and just the calm nature that he plays with in the NFL should never happen for a rookie, but nothing like gets him off his marker. He just continues to be the player that he is, and playing fullback as a rookie, I couldn't get that done. So the fact that he's getting it done at quarterback is just amazing. But since y'all brought up Jaden Daniels, I want to bring up another member of the LSU draft class because I feel like he always kind of falls behind some of the other names. But Brian Thomas Jr. Yesterday, he had 5 catches, 122 yards, had a long 85-yarder. The Jags continue to be bad, even though they finally got their first win. But Brian Thomas Jr., because, and I get why we do it, because they're awesome as well. But like Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, like we talk a lot about them, and certainly like going back to Jets and Jamar, like certainly they deserve to get the discussion going about where they're at in their career. But Brian Thomas Jr., so far his rookie year, he's got 22 catches, 397 yards, which is 6th right now in the NFL, 3 touchdowns already, 18 yards per catch. He is living up to his, first round, was he 23rd, I believe, overall. He's living up to that and then some. So weekend winner, Brian Thomas Jr.
Bro, you really had Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, and Jane Daniels in college last year.
I know.
Madhouse, weekend loser. How about this? Jaden Daniels became the first player in NFL history to throw for more than 1,000, rush for at least 250 in his first 5 games. Also set the NFL record for completion percentage in first 4 games. So, yeah, he's awesome. Anybody else have any winners? I got a couple more.
Yeah, I got a weekend winner. The Denver Broncos. Don't look now. They have won 3 straight games. They are now 3-2, and Bo Nix kind of figuring it out. Over 200 yards, 3 total touchdowns yesterday. The combination of Bo Nix and Sean Payton seems to be figuring it out a little bit. 3 straight wins.
Wasn't he going off on him on the sideline or something?
Yeah, and it was actually more Bo going after Sean Payton. Yeah, but they apparently squashed it. They're good to go. They're playing well.
Yeah, I hate it, but hey, whatever. My next weekend winner, Eli Holstein, former, I think it was Zachary, right? But Louisiana big-time commit, ends up going to Bama after the whole Walker Howard stuff, ends up leaving Bama, going to Pitt, and Pitt is now 5-0 for the first time since 1991. Over the weekend, they beat UNC. Holstein goes for 381 and 3 tuds. He's the first quarterback since Dan Marino to win his first 5 starts at Pitt. How about that?
All right, I like that one a lot. A quarterback that we talked a lot about when he was playing high school football here. You kind of forget about him. He goes to Alabama, isn't playing, goes to Pitt, right? Not a place that you think he would end up being from Louisiana, but now, man, he's got Pitt as a top 25 team, so certainly well-deserving there. I definitely want to give a weekend winner to Clark Lee. Clark Lee is somebody that is doing things at Vanderbilt that they've never done before. And I'm not just talking about beating Alabama. When you watch that game, there's construction going on. There's facility upgrades. There's a football operations building. There's Vanderbilt fans in the stands and not just the other team's fans. Clark Lee, who played fullback at Vanderbilt, that's important. We need to make sure that we point that out. He knows the challenges of Vanderbilt. He knows what it looks like to try to keep up with the rest of the SEC, and he accepted that challenge. And this is somebody that came back to Vanderbilt because he wanted to make the place that he played something different, and he has done that already in a short period of time. When you look at sure, I know the record. I know that he is 12-29 in his career as a head coach there, but we all know what that job is, okay? And it is certainly going in the right direction. And just for a place that hasn't touched their stadium in 50 years, a place that didn't have a football operations building until now, he is creating momentum that is getting those things done. He is getting things that we never thought done right now, at Vanderbilt. It's crazy to say, but again, important to note, he played fullback. I just want to throw that out there one more time. And maybe the smartest fullback, by the way, when you hear him talk, T-Bob, that I've ever heard.
I'm just shocked he didn't play for the Gators with how lovingly you're speaking on him. My next weekend winner, real quick one here, SMU. I counted them out early after that loss to BYU, but that loss has aged very well, and now you're 2-0. After beating Florida State and Louisville in your first 2 ACC games. Going from Preston Stone to Kevin Jennings at quarterback has made all the difference. And then my last one, weekend loser, Malachi Moore of Alabama. I have never seen a player throw a tantrum to the level that Malachi Moore did when Bama lost to Vandy this week. And I mean, stamping his feet like a child, thrashing his hands. He even straight up kicked the ball after the refs spotted it as Vandy's going to kneel it out. I mean, I know what Nick Saban would have done. You know better than I do, Jake. What would Nick Saban have done if a player had done that?
I mean, he might not be on the team. He'd be suspended for sure. He would have, Nick would have met him at the hash too, to get him out of the game after he did that.
Yes.
And probably maybe
Caleb
find his own way
all
home.
Eyes on you to see how you're going to handle this.
Yeah, it's bad. Look, you can be frustrated, you can be mad at the loss, but like going and kicking the ball, I have never seen that in all the football that I have watched. I've never seen anything like that. So, anybody else? Going once, going twice, sold. And we've got Hold the Mayo, Devin Snow set to join us when we come back here on OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to getgordon.com. Getgordon.com is the website. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And we always tell you on the website, you can get so many different things done. You can find cases they can handle for you, past client results. You can get a consultation set up right there on the website. You can get a question answered. Our little chat window is going to pull up when you visit getgordon.com. You can ask them a question right there on the website. If you want to see what they're doing in the community, always doing something with your favorite athletes throughout the state of Louisiana, at Get Gordon is going to be the handle on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, all major social media, YouTube. We got their own YouTube page as well. You can check that out. And you know this, pick up the phone, your area code followed by the 888-8888.
Hey, get Gordon, get it done. 225-888-8888. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys there for you when you need them. Just look, man, check them out online. Get Gordon, follow social media at Get Gordon, and let them stand up the big insurance companies to get you what you deserve.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, welcome back in OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It is now time to go to our guy, Devin Snow, a.k.a. Hold the Mayo. Dev, what's going on, man? How we doing?
On game day. We're doing all right.
I know it is. It is. Like, we're going to be out at the Queen of Baton Rouge, so come hang out. Alondra will be with me. Henny, I believe, will be with
Hanny
us
will be there
as well.
Wait,
Shout out.
Sorry, I have an open for Dev now.
Oh, that's
so we
right.
wanna play
Okay.
it.
Oh,
Reset.
wow.
Reset.
Listen to this.
Yo.
Devin Snow.
You go. Let's head down to New Orleans. Live from Spread Quarters. This is Spread Lines with Devin Snow.
Yeah, I'm live.
That was it.
Hey, yeah, I'm live. Hell yeah.
There you go,
dude, I
Dev.
love
How
man.
about it,
Hey,
man?
dude, technology, bro. Let's go.
I know, man. Luke, before we get to the Saints, because it is game day, we kind of been holding off some of the Saints discussion. We did, a heavy lifting day with the Saints on Friday. There was a lot of people in college football this past weekend that were on the beans.
Oh yeah, I mean, by the way, I hate to say it, but I love to say it. I'm 15-7 in the last 3 Saturdays picking college football, so like that's been okay to me. Look, compared to the NFL, college football, you can actually you know what I'm saying? You can watch the game and actually make an assessment on who's going to win. NFL, no way.
Exactly, dude. Gamble on the NFL, who knows? But I mean, look, that is kind of the thing, though, in a game like tonight, Dev, that maybe gives you a little bit of hope because,
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and the dynasty of our era to Saints team that has lost 2 in a row and seems to be flailing a bit. What is your greatest hope for tonight that these Saints find a way to pull this one off?
I mean, hey, you saw it last night. The Cowgirls, they had a bunch of injuries, and they found a way to win the game. Derek Carr is 7-4 on Monday Night Football, baby. Got a winning record on Monday Night Football. So I really do, and I have all week. I feel like the Saints, they're going to be in this game, and I think they're going to win. I really do. As crazy as it sounds, I think they're going to win.
Even with all the injuries, even with all the things. Okay, who's going to be the guy, Dev? Give me the guy that's going to make the plays for the Saints to be able to win.
I think it's going to be Kamara, and I think it's going to be Olave. I think that's going to be the 2 guys that have big games. And, of course, the defense. I mean, you got to keep that in mind because, man, I just don't recall, Patrick Mahomes having, don't get me wrong, all their games are tight. They don't look great ever, but they are great. You know what I'm saying? They're just a great team. They'll just get through the regular season. It would be nice to see the Saints defense pick Pat Mahomes off 2 times tonight. Make him look human. Make him look normal. That would be best case scenario. And then, of course, the offense has to move the ball. We got to get back to those first 2 weeks. Don't have to be 40 whatever points, but move the ball. You know what I'm saying? Score in the red zone. Easier said than done. We got every single O-lineman you could possibly fathom out of the game, but that's just, to me, that just tells me the Saints are going to win. I know that sounds crazy, but that's Saints football.
Yeah, just to Dev's point, Cesar Ruiz is out for this game. Some other injuries, and by the way, Eric McCoy is on injury reserve, so he's out for this game. I believe Lucas Patrick is still.
Taysom Hill's out.
I know. I believe Lucas Patrick is still questionable. Peyton Turner's out, but that's not news. That happens pretty much every other game.
That strip comes at a cost, baby. You knew that.
Yeah, exactly, man. You were getting a stack strip for free. Not for Peyton Turner. No chance, dude.
Yeah. Wrap it up.
Pete Werner's even listed as questionable now. I mean, look, no Taysom Hill. I just don't see it. I don't see how the Saints win it, and it is probably close. But it goes back to what we talked about on Friday. Good teams in the NFL win by razor-thin margins, but those margins are not just because they get lucky every game and the other team is not. It's because they stack a lot of small moment wins that end up leading to that difference. Unfortunately, the Chiefs are the absolute best at the NFL in creating those razor-thin margin wins, whereas the Saints aren't like the flat-out worst, but they're very middling. They're very middling in that regard, and they probably lose more of those close games than they actually win. So, yeah,
Okay.
I don't know, man. I'm obviously going to be cheering and hoping, but I'm not sitting here and picking the Saints to win this game.
Okay, hear me out, though, real quick. So, Rasheed Rice is out. Okay, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who hasn't played all year, he's doubtful to play. You literally got Kareem Hunt. That's who they got to run the ball. The Saints, they're not as great of a run defense as they've been, in years past, but they can still show up and stop the run. And if you only got one guy, that makes it's going to fall on Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. I just like the matchup for the Saints defense to keep the game close. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be another one of them. So
but you still have they still have Travis Kelce and they still got Chris Jones. And I'm terrified of Chris Jones going against this Saints line after what we just saw Jalen Carter do a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, no, Chris Jones is going to be a problem. I mean, he always is. He's a problem for every team. Not just the Saints.
Yeah.
He's a problem for every team. So, I don't know. That's what I see. I see the defense being able to keep it close enough to where somebody on the Saints offense has to step up and make the plays to, win the game.
To your point, the Chiefs are undefeated, but the Chiefs have been beatable in every game. I mean, they've had moments. They haven't looked like themselves. Rice is off the board, and so they do have to find somebody else. And this just feels like a game that you can't let Travis Kelce, as slow as he started, although it did pick up last week, like you can't allow him to beat you because – like the Chiefs right now are about as down as they're going to be, and you have to get a win, even though you are limping into Arrowhead.
Yeah, and you got to get some production out of some dudes, man. Like Juwan Johnson. Like this has to be a Juwan Johnson night. Because it's looking like Taylor Swift's going to catch more balls than Juwan Johnson, right? If you look from the past history, but this guy has to do something tonight. There's a couple guys like that just have to do something tonight. We got to stop. Dude, I understand the formation and the offense and how they work with two receivers, but we got to see something else from a third receiver. How about that? A fourth receiver. Like, we just got two receivers. That's it. Like, let's see something from some other guys, man. You saw what happened to A.T. Perry. They wound up waiving him, which is crazy because you never really got to see him. You only see the same two guys, Olave, Shaheed, so I don't know, man. Some of these guys are on the roster just hanging out.
It's just, again, because what y'all are talking about, no weapons, no Taysom Hill. Like, Taysom Hill is the other weapon, right? Your four weapons are the two receivers, Kamara and Hill. No Hill. I know that some smarter Saints writers argue that we've maybe made too much of Hill's effect in the offense, but I don't know. The 18 drives he's been in, you scored 15 times. The 18 drives he's been out, you scored 6. Yeah. I know it's not always that simple, but in my mind, it kind of is that simple. So I don't know, man. I don't feel good.
I think if you're sitting here thinking, man, we need Taysom Hill for every game. Taysom hasn't. Don't get me wrong. Play the Falcons, bro. He's the Falcon killer. Division games, Taysom Hill's good. We should be able to get by without Taysom Hill, dude. That's not a good thing. That's not a good problem to have. Oh well, Taysom Hill's out, so we can't get by. I don't know, man.
Look, tonight's going to fall.
Not in this offense.
It's going to fall on the offensive line and Derek Carr because when you look at the Chiefs as far as run defense, they're a top 8 unit in the league now. You are as well, but the Chiefs aren't trying to run the football. So, even AK getting loose, the Chiefs are giving up less than 100 yards per game on the ground. But through the air, they're like 22nd. Yards can be had through the air. So, love it or hate it, Derek Carr is going to be the reason you win or lose this game, Dev.
I agree. Because, look, the Chiefs ain't got, that secondary they had in the past. They ain't got L'Jarius Sneed no more. So, this looks like a night to where dudes can cut up, Juwan Johnson, Olave, if Kamara can't get it pounded in the run game, throw him the ball. What's up with Kendre Miller? I saw that he's back active. Then I saw that he's doubtful.
He's not going to play. He's not going to play Monday, but he is back active.
Yeah, because Jamal Williams, like I've said forever, this dude cannot run out of a bathroom. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get some. Well, I mean, look at the Falcons and the Bucs the other night. What do they have that the Saints don't have? They got two backs that can make plays, and they got more than two receivers that can make plays on both sides. The whole time I was watching that game, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, both of these offenses are better than the Saints, bro. Like, from a personnel-wise, they just are.
Hey, it is crazy, though, that the Saints held that Falcons offense without a touchdown. Not that it means anything, because you effed it up otherwise, but, like, that is crazy. Look, I don't feel great. I would love nothing more than to be proven wrong. And Derek Carr, you want the city to love you. You want I'm Live to love you. You want Spread Quarters to call in after the show to be singing your praises. Go win this game somehow. You go win this game, and the people will be right back on board with you. I just don't see it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's surely going to be a coin flip, bro. So
all right.
I can feel it.
All right, Dev. So I feel like today's a big day, RBNR day. Now, it's always big on Mondays, but with it being Saints game day, are you going somewhere specific? Like, do you already have the spot ready to go, or are you just going to go to an area and find a spot?
No, just going off of feeling, though. It's a Saints game day, and for whatever reason, just in the past, whenever it's Saints game day on RBNR day, dude, I got to be downtown. I don't go to Bourbon and all this stuff a lot. Nobody does, really, that lives down here. But, man, on game day, man, let's go check it out. Let's go see what's going on, like, downtown. You know what I'm saying? Around all the characters. Yeah. Get the pulse.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Dev, hcmsports.com/shop. What we got going on in the merch department?
Oh, we got a bunch of merch. Some stuff sold out, but I'm about to restock it this week. But we got I'm Live merch. We got RBNR Day, Red Bean League merch. I got the most, like, versatile I've ever had as far as, like, how many shirts I have online. So definitely check that out. And, of course, tonight, right after the game, YouTube, Hold the Mayo. We got HCM Live as soon as the game ends.
All right, there he is, our guy, Devin Snow, Hold the Mayo. Well, Dev is confident in the Saints, and so I'm glad somebody has confidence. And if they win, Dev, let her rip. Just let her rip, because you were on this first. We appreciate it, brother.
All right, y'all take care. Who dat?
Who dat? That's good.
I mean, I love his enthusiasm. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough. For all the things the Chiefs do well, you don't do well because you are banged up in those spots. Offensive line, I mean, you're going to have guys off the street one play away from playing against Chris Jones and that Chiefs defensive front. But you know what? The Chiefs have looked human this year, so we'll see if the Saints can go to Arrowhead and get a dub. We will take a break. More OTB on the other side.
Off the bench.
Speaking of Chiefs Saints, we will be at the Queen of Baton Rouge tonight. It is your football headquarters where every day is game day. And look, the DraftKings Sportsbook is set up for success. It is a great time. I mean, just a wall of TVs, incredible boost right there. You can place a bet. They got the kiosk right there. You place a bet, you turn it in, and like T-Bob always says, and he is right, you get cold, hard cash, right? There's something that is just a different feeling when you bet on sports live there, and that's what you get over at the Queen. Again, I'll be there. Alondra will be there. Haney will be there with us tonight. So come watch Chiefs Saints with us at the Queen and the Queen of Baton Rouge.
That's right, baby. The Queen of Baton Rouge, 1717 Restaurant and Lounge right there. We got Shaq's Big Chicken, Capital Coffee, all the casino games. It's remade top to bottom. It's going to be so much fun in the Sportsbook tonight. Head on out to the Queen.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
Welcome back to the 9th-ranked morning sports show in America. Off the bench.
It's a great song. Don't let it breathe. I think you need to change your background, T, to like some Hawaiian vibes now.
Let's see what else I got on here. I've been messing around.
You've been across the, different galaxies. I think I've seen some fantasy in the background there. Okay, that kind of plays.
It's all, I don't know where all these are all the Microsoft Teams backgrounds, a little sci-fi here. Looks like a little computer lab type deal here. It's pretty cool.
Right there.
All
right, while you're getting
my
those,
final thoughts on the Saints.
Yeah, go ahead.
Remain. Yeah, look, again, it's just what we talked about the other day. We just got to call a spade a spade. There's too much overcome here. There's too many injuries. Even if both teams were fully healthy, I wouldn't feel that much different about the game. So if you're telling me that the Saints, I also feel like are missing too many critical pieces. I just don't see it. I just don't see it outside of it being the NFL. The NFL creating unexpected results where we don't normally, where we would never think that they would. And what sucks is I don't feel like the Saints will get blown out, even with the injuries. I think it will be close. But again, Kansas City are masters of building those small moments to win those close games, and the Saints have been bad. And I don't see why that should change in Arrowhead on Monday Night Football. Pat Mahomes loves the big stage. So you're on Monday night, you're in Arrowhead, Crowd's going to be insane. What's the weather going to be like? Actually, I haven't looked that up.
It is going to be 75 and clear game time.
Oh, wow. Wow, unbelievable. Okay, so perfect weather. That's going to be freaking awesome. But still, you're going to have a juiced-up crowd. Your team's kind of on the ropes after losing 2 in a row. I think the Saints dropped to 2-3 here, and then I think that game against the Bucs becomes all important next week to get to 3-3.
Right now, the ESPN matchup predictor gives the Chiefs a 59.8% chance to win this game. Could you help the Chargers out too? Give the Chiefs a loss. That'd be great. Just give them a loss on the ledger. That would be great as well. And how bad would it feel after the Saints 2-0 start, the way that it did start, to look up and you're 2-3?
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where I will not, certainly it would feel awful.
Yeah.
But it's one of those situations where I would not fully just burn it down yet until you drop to 2-4. Because I do think before the season started, now granted, I know that you can drive yourself crazy with the coulda, shoulda, woulda games. Like we said, the Atlanta game was the ultimate coulda, shoulda, woulda that was about as high of a one as you will ever find in watching NFL football. Philly also, but maybe less so. But whatever. The point is, you could drive yourself crazy with that. But if we do take a step back, if we had said 3-3 coming out of the first 6, even dealing with the amount of injuries you are, that's actually a positive. Like, the schedule will get easier, and I'm speaking in relative NFL terms, will get easier after that, and you will have survived what looked to be a very tough first 6 games. So I'm not completely burning it down until you drop to 2-4. But yeah, there's no doubt that after starting 2-0 to drop to 2-3, and especially how you lost against the Eagles and Falcons, and let's say that happened like again tonight, that would just be devastating for morale.
Yeah, I mean, it just 2-0 felt so good, the way that you won those games and you've had opportunities. And I agree, like before the season, maybe you accepted, but I mean, they kind of changed the narrative. We saw what they could be, and, injuries have played a large part in this. We've talked about the guys that are out, and also, like we talked about, they were going to get game tape on this new offense, and once they did, were you going to be able to make the adjustments? And, so far, now injuries, again, have a lot to do with it, but you have not been able to make those adjustments, and you need to go steal one tonight on the road against an undefeated Kansas City Chiefs team that is the standard of the NFL. All right, we will step away, and when we come back, we will close out today's show like we always do with Ask the Bench. But before we get to that point, definitely want to remind you about Trash Rangers. Go to the website, trashrangers.com. Today, for me, was trash day, and, I would have forgotten. Definitely did forget, but you don't have to forget, because you get weekly text reminders with Trash Rangers when you go to the website. If you're not signed up now, you can sign up at the bottom. Sign up for residential service, commercial service. If you need a roll-off dumpster, you can sign up for that right there on the website as well, trashrangers.com. And when we come back, we will wrap it up with Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cola Coors Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus Sweet.
Off the bench.
All right. Oh, how did Saturday go? GoTommies.com. GoTommies.com, by the way. T-Bob, how did Saturday go? I know y'all had the big beard competition. I know you were emceeing it, so I'm sure you got a chance to see some fantastic beards.
We did see some fantastic beards. Shout out Tommy Kister of GoTommies.com. Again, for all your windows, doors, and siding, Tommy's is the answer, guys. They're incredible. But yeah, Saturday was a lot of fun, man. Famous beard YouTuber Dan Command, Dan C. Bearded on YouTube in town. Judged a lot of different categories. We had kids, we had women, we had the category that most men like to lie about not being in, 0 to 6 inches. We had 6 to 12 and even 12 plus. It was a great time. Shout out Rally Cap. And it was all to benefit the Baton Rouge Animal Shelter. So it was a really great time. Shout out to Tommy's Windows. We're excited for putting it on. GoTommies.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
I did forget about the SEC shorts. That is on my phone.
Well, I mean, you know, we kind of ran out of time, too, because we need to talk Saints as well. We can watch it on our own time and just talk about
how long
tomorrow.
is it, Tay-Tay?
It is.
Probably going to be about
It's
5
like
minutes.
4.5 minutes.
No, we don't have that time. That's on me. It's my bad. It's bad clock management, but it's out there, so you can Google it, and it's going to pull up, and you can watch it.
I can't wait to watch right after the show, actually.
There you go. Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Cruise Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus Sweet. How good was the scoonch of fall in Savannah this morning?
I don't know. I've not left my room yet.
When did you get there?
It's now 11 a.m. And I'm probably not going to leave until after snap. So I will tell you how the afternoon is. It felt great last night. Walked around downtown Savannah for a bit after dinner. Really cool city, man. I'm staying about a block away from SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design. So there's
That's
just like
where,
a lot of
Chris Doring's son goes there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Really cool, just like culture, art.
Yeah.
You can kind of see all throughout the city. And I got some really good vanilla ice cream late last night from a place called Leopold's. It was fantastic.
Did you spend any time there, like growing up? Like I have no idea. Like I feel like you right now. I have no idea. I know where it's at, but I don't know how far it is from Atlanta.
I feel like it's pretty far south.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
No, it is, but I didn't know how far that was.
The most time I ever spend here is my wife's family goes to the beach at Hilton Head. And this is where you fly in to drive over there. I will say this. Whatever Savannah's doing, there's a ton of money here now. Like, I don't know when it happened, but there seems to be investment all over the place here. A lot of rich people.
Ask the Bench. Is the SEC wide open now after Bama and Tennessee lost?
Yeah. I mean, that I think all of college football is wide open. That was my biggest takeaway from the weekend. The 12-team playoff just feels like absolute wonderful chaos where who knows who's actually the best team in the country. Like, maybe Georgia because Bama's the only one that beats it. But then again, like, Georgia doesn't feel that threatening right now. Ohio State, okay, they would probably be next in line, but we'll see what they do against Oregon, how good they look. And for a half, Iowa looked good, and then Jeremiah Smith took over. So, yeah, I think college football is awesome right now because you could make an argument for a bunch of different teams winning.
Yeah, I mean, it is wide open, and one of the teams that is at the top is going to have a loss after this weekend. You know, you got Oregon and Ohio State taking on each other. Texas has to play Oklahoma. They lost to Oklahoma last year. So, yeah, chaos.
Spoiler alert, they ain't losing again, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, I mean, not as much, but the narrative was the same last year, too, about that game.
Yeah, that last year. I mean,
it wasn't that far off.
Trash.
I know, but
last
it was not that far off.
Last year, Dylan Gabriel was awesome.
All right. Let's see. Ask the Bench. I had one. Where'd it go? Oh, man, I felt like I had it.
Does Jake Hester love the Gators? Ooh, it's a good question, guys. A lot are asking it.
Yeah, nobody's asking that. Only T-Bob. Ask the Bench. Why did Jake wait until T-Bob wasn't in studio to show off a little chest hair? Actually, the first time I wore this shirt was today. And I don't know. I kind of like it. I didn't wear an undershirt because, well, it's still kind of warm here in Baton Rouge. But it is my Elite Training Academy, EliteTrainingAcademyBR.com shirt. I just got like a slew of them in. I wore one the other day. So, I don't know. First time I wore it.
Got a little scandalous. Actually, I do remember I came on a elementary school class trip to Savannah, but I don't remember anything about it beyond a ghost tour.
I love the fact that you grew up in Georgia and you really don't know where it's at compared to Atlanta. Like, there's not a city in Louisiana
it's south
that we don't know where it's at. You know, like a major city.
It's south. What do you mean?
You said, I guess. South, I guess.
No, it's south, yeah. Maybe southeast, if I had to guess.
Well, yeah, that
feels
would,
like it's probably bordering the Carolinas in one way or another, something like that. I don't know.
I would assume with the Hilton Head, the South Carolina, it's on the coast and it's
Carolina.
close to, yeah,
not Carolinas, but maybe one.
Yeah, just.
Well, if it borders one Carolina, it borders the other. Because they border each other.
Not really.
Okay?
Not really. You got T-Bob. You got 15 seconds to say why the Saints are going to win.
If the Saints are going to win, it's like you said. It's because Derek Carr will somehow play just like out of his mind, and I don't see that happening.
All right. And on that note, we'll see you tonight at the Queen of Baton Rouge. We'll see you tomorrow, OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to iticollege.edu, iticollege.edu, and once you go to the website, you are going to see what we tell you about every single day, the incredible campus right off Airline Highway. And you can visit that campus. You can get all of that set up, schedule a campus tour right there on the homepage, and classes are about to start. And so now is the time. If you want to go check it out, schedule that tour, contact them. That all the number and everything right there is on the website. Admissions@iticollege.edu is the email, iticollege.edu.
Yeah, go there today, guys. And look, remember, we have flexible class scheduling, tons of financial aid available for those who qualify poly through multiple different avenues. You get Fridays off, a beautiful 6-acre campus right here in Baton Rouge. The instructors all have to have years of real-life experience, and you train on the very equipment you will be working with. Change your life in 2 years by going to iticollege.edu.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on